Subhashji, this you've also spoken about the influence of the Indian, for example, the presence of Sanskrit names and Sanskrit words in various cultures geographically around India, across the globe. I mean, for example, you've spoken about the Slavic gods having Sanskrit names or Indian or Vedic names, right? So, what was the extent of the Indian, the influence of the Indian, or let's say the Hindu culture or Hindu practices, beliefs, or Sanskrit language, culture really? What was the extent, the geographical spread of the Indian culture? And could you speak a little bit about this, the fact that Slavic gods have Sanskrit names or Vedic names, or they could in fact be Vedic gods themselves? Just a little bit on that.
Oh, incredible. The influence was incredible all over the ancient world, as we know, and Southeast Asia, it's generally accepted. You know, you have great temples there. Harihara was a great image which was used all over as the one inspiring royalty. You go to Champa, or you go to Khmer, which is Cambodia, and certainly Indonesia, Java and all over. And in fact, the Javanese slogan, which is part of the state right now, says that Shiva and Buddha are the same. In fact, there is a Javanese poem, Vishwa, where the actual name that is used is Vishwa for Shiva, because Shiva is also Vishwanatha, right? So Vishwa and Buddha are the same. So it was generally accepted. You know, they were, Buddhism and Hinduism being different is a modern myth. You look at all these kings and queens, they worship both the Buddha and Shiva or Vishnu and all that. And in fact, even now in temples all across East Asia, China, Japan, Vietnam, Korea, one of the most popular chants, which is chanted in Sanskrit even now, is called Nilakanta Dharani.
Nilakanta
Dharani.
Oh, it's a chant, is it?
It's a chant in Sanskrit, and they write it in Chinese characters. But how they do it is they extract the syllables from the first. Chinese characters come with correspondences with some number, with some names. So they take the first part of that syllable and the second part of the second one, and that's how they code the Sanskrit sounds. So Nilakanta Dharani, in this, Avalokiteshvara, which is one of the bodhisattvas, the most perfected bodhisattva. In fact, the worship right now in all of China, etc., is of a feminine form of Avalokiteshvara called Guan Yin. In fact, the great images that you have is to Avalokiteshvara. In this Nilakanta Dharani, Avalokiteshvara is worshipping both Vishnu and Shiva, and he worships Shiva himself. This is Avalokiteshvara worshipping. And he says, worshipping Nilakanta, he says, you who drunk halahal poison to save the universe, you are the pratik, the symbol of compassion, of karuna. Because, after all, bodhisattvas symbolize karuna, compassion. So even now, you have this dharani and many other Sanskritic dharanis. So they are a part of living religion, which according to Ananda Kumaraswamy is equivalent to Sanatana Dharma. But academics and politicians are insisting now that they're different. But in any event, we see this great sweep everywhere. In Zen religion or Zen Buddhism, Zen is of course Dhyan. Dhyan in Sanskrit became Chan in Chinese, became Zen in Japanese. They even use Sanskrit letters in Siddham script, which is related to it's related to the Devanagari script, actually the Gupta form of the Devanagari script. So all of these things are still alive. And some people believe that Buddhism has anatma and so on, but on his own deathbed, the Buddha accepted, this is described in this very longish and influential Mahaparinirvana Sutra. He described that after death, yes, something persists, which is what Veda is all about, Atman. Atman always, or in the Bhagavad Gita, right? So he said, yes, it persists. So that the very heart of Buddhism as practiced in East Asia, and this is something that Dalai Lama would acknowledge any moment, is what is Hinduism. But now to talk about the westward push, the Zoroastrians also introduced or accepted Maheshwara as a divinity equal to Zarathustra. So this is in Samarkand and so on before it became Islamicized. All of Xinjiang, they used to speak Indian languages. Gandhari is a Middle Indo-Aryan language, and Sanskrit, not following all the rules. So it's sometimes called Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit. And Khotanese, which are also Sanskritized. In fact, Fayan and Hyun Sang, when they traveled through Central Asia on their travels to India, they said, well, people in Central Asia read Indian books and they follow Indian religion, in Indian culture. But now westwards, the Slavic world was Christianized very late, after 1000. And the process was very violent. It's called the Northern Crusades. So the Slavs held on to their religion for a very long time. And in fact, they held on to it so strongly that sometimes people say that the Russian religion is doveri. Doveri meaning, do meaning two, veri meaning truths, like verities. Doveri, two truths, that they go to church and they do something, but at their home, they're holding on to their old ways. And in fact, something very amusing, when Christianity triumphed in Rome, they changed the way they circumambulated, if that was a part of their religious ceremony. Prior to that, it used to be clockwise, Dakshina, clockwise. So they reversed it and made it counterclockwise. But the Slavs refused that change. So in the Orthodox Church, in the Greek Orthodox Church or the Slavic churches, it's still clockwise. They said, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. So now what they've discovered is that the chief divinity of the Slavic world was called Svetovid, which is a very beautiful Sanskrit etymology. Svetovid, the knower of light. Shweta is white, but it also can be seen as light. And Shwetavid, and it had four faces, just as Shiva is supposed to have four faces plus Ishana. Right? The fifth one, which provides grace. So the four faces, the north one was called Swarog or Swarga. The west one was called Parjanya or Percolis. The south face was called Lada, which is a name for the earth. And the east face was called Mokosh, which is Moksha. So, you have all these, Sanskrit is underlying a lot of the cultural stuff in the entire, not just the Slavic world, but also the Western European world, because there was a pathway not only overland through the Himalayan passes, there were also shipping going on between South India and Rome. In fact, there are Roman authors writing about 200 BCE saying that Rome is going to get bankrupt because we are importing so much of spices, from South India. And they have discovered these hoards of golden coins, Roman coins, at many places in South India. So a lot of the stuff from India went to Europe, Western Europe primarily, from over the water route, over the shipping lanes. And so there is so much of similarity there. Just as you had three classes three main, the Vish, the people, the Kshatriya and the Brahmins, in terms of classification of function, not necessarily that you couldn't be flexible. All of these jatis were flexible.
Very flexible. Yeah.
In any free society, people can do and join, and they say, well, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to run my own temple, which is what's happening in the West. Or you go to Champa, you even have the ones who didn't convert to Islam amongst the Cham people. There are about 20% who are Hindus, and they call themselves the Balaman, which is Brahman.
Where is this?
Champa is Vietnam. The Cham people, the state of Champa was after the Cham people. And the Cham people are one of the ethnic groups in Vietnam.
Oh.
And the Hindus who are there, sadly, India has forgotten about them. They call themselves the Balaman. Now, in Europe, in Rome, there were three classes also. The top were the light, the keepers of the light, and they were called the Flamans, like the Brahmins.
Brahmin.
The Flamans. So you had the similar tripartite function, and this tripartite function is fundamental to the Vedic way. Trividya. The Vedas are Trividya. This Vidya has three aspects, right? I already mentioned Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. The body, the atmosphere. The body is the Bhautik Sharir. Bhuva is the pranas, and Swaha is the Atman, which resides within you. Right? So everything is three, and likewise in social function also, you have the general population, and then you have those, and this is within each, because in the Purusha Sukta, it's stated that the Purusha then manifests itself in different sectors of society. You have the people who are doing the teaching, or people who are doing the protecting the thing, the soldiers and so on. But this is within each one of us. Each human being has different roles. Each human being is also a teacher and teaching their children, or indirectly their friends and everybody else.
Contributing to the knowledge.
Contributing. Each person must also do to obtain the money that is needed to be done to sustain their family.
Right.
So each person is a Brahman, each person is a Kshatriya, each person is a Vaishya, and each person is a Shudra as well. Absolutely. Because within each human being are all the divinities. In fact, who is, where does the divinity, where does Vishnu resides in the feet, right? Because Vishnu is the Adhara of the entire
Jagat.
Right, of the Jagat, right.
Very interesting.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.